Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk and ELT. This one is a bit heavy, so just disclaimer in the front of this episode that it might get a little bit heavy. We're going to talk about crisis mode teaching and how to stay grounded in unstable situations. Um, yeah, it's a challenge. So imagine you show up to teach, but your school's, I don't know, reorganizing. Half your students are gone, the other half are distracted, they're angry, they didn't want to switch, blah, blah, blah. There's no clear schedules, admins are not responding back to them, Wi Fi is down, materials haven't been ordered, teachers are angry, parents are angry, that type of situation. So, yeah, pretty unstable. And a lot of those things I just listed off are relatively common, unfortunately. Or maybe, again, warning people, this might be heavy. You're teaching through a strike, a war, a lockdown, pandemics we've had, personal chaos, political mess, or just kind of everything at once, which is kind of how it's feeling like for me right now. So let's just call it what it is. This is crisis mode teaching. It's brutal because you're expected to deliver some quality instructions for your students and for them to learn something, but you're still trying to support them. You are carrying this emotional load. Nobody says it out loud, and we just try to, keep calm and carry on, but it's it's tough. Not easy. And so here's some ways that maybe you can stay grounded, not perfect, not polished, just functioning, human, when clearly some of the situations are not functioning and human. So here we go. Ways that I try to ground myself. Shrink the goals. Hard shrinking of goals. This is not the time for perfect pacing, ideal sequencing, reinventing different methods in your class and techniques and stuff. No, not going to happen right now. People are stressed, on edge. We know that when we're trying to learn and we've got all of those stress chemicals floating around our bodies, it's highly unlikely that we're going to have high retention of the information that we're looking at. Lack of focus because of obvious scenarios going on. So ask yourself, what's the minimum effective dose of learning today? Like, let's just look at it like this. What's the minimum that we can do? One skill, one idea, a question that we can answer, something that we can leave with. And that might just be enough. There's many times where I've had students come into class, actually one heartbreaking one. Um, I've had several heartbreaks actually. Uh, Losing students um, to cancer, to car accidents, divorces, child illnesses. Anyways, the most recent one was a divorce, and he just broke down. There was no class that day. I didn't even charge. I couldn't even imagine charging for an hour of my time while he sat there and broke down because his marriage was over. So that's hard. And sometimes it's just not salvageable. And if the next class better, but still very raw and sensitive. So there was just one objective. We just did one thing that day. And if we could do that one thing well, that's great. Then we can build off of that. So again, shrink your goals. Hard. Don't feel bad about it. Be transparent, not panicked, but transparent. You don't have to pretend that everything is fine. Everything is not fine. And that's okay. That's part of being human. Um, but we do need to model how to stay calm and just kind of keep going. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. So, if we've got a mess in a physical classroom or an online, something's not working, just okay, things are messy today. We're going to adjust. Let's focus on what we can do right now. This is not a possibility anymore, but we can do something. And one of my favorites is I'll be honest. Let me tell you the truth, guys. I'm figuring this out too, so let's try and do this together. So students remember kind of that steadiness and that humanity a little bit more than a perfect lesson. So if something is not working in your classroom, something goes down, Wi-Fi is out, can't find the goodness, can't find any of the materials, something, it's fine. So, okay, let's see how we can get this done today. And that's it. Try to prioritize connection over content. Crisis really fractures people. We try to give them small wins, making them feel a little bit more safe, a little bit more confident. So maybe we can look at low pressure tasks, things that are not high risk, giving them more thinking time is a possibility. Space for expression. I have cried with a few of my students because of things that have happened. I'm just like I'm the type of person that if I see you crying, I'm gonna cry too, just because oof, it just gets me. I just see how broken you get. So, but allow them to express themselves. If something's bothering them, just like let it get it out, because sometimes they just gotta get it out and then just move on with it. I'm not crying all the time in class, by the way. I think people think I'm relatively cold, but I do have a heart. And warm check-ins. So even if it's brief, like during the class, be like, "Are you doing okay? Like, are we still focused here? Do you need a minute? Do you want to go grab a water, something like that?" So that sometimes allows people to reset and feel better. So we don't have to just always just purely teach, just kind of hold space for them. It's okay. And if they're doing it in English, then they're still practicing, so fine. And my last tip for crisis mode teaching is grounding yourself first. This is survival mode teaching, which means self-preservation. Uh, Knowing that you have to take a break, you need to go drink some water. You might have to cancel some extra work, extra prep time, or something like that. Whatever you might need, because sometimes things are heavy. Most recently, I was in a session and one of the trainees handled it quite well. There was a bombing outside. The student, unfortunately, is stuck in the Ukraine-Russia war. She's a lovely woman and started bombing outside of her building, like a few blocks down. And of course, we all asked if she was safe, does she need anything else, that type of thing. But very uncomfortable to happen mid-lesson. Again, the other teacher handled it very well, and we checked in on her. She's doing fine. But, I've had to support teachers and students too, working through Ukraine-Russian war right now, the chaos of the pandemic previously, slow burning political instability in just multiple countries, refugee situations unfolding across the world. I mean, South America has them, Europe's going on. So this isn't crisis teaching, isn't abstract. This isn't me saying, "Oh, it'll be okay if it happens to you." No, it like legit is happening to me now. It's a lot of the backdrop of some of the work that I do, and I've seen teachers try to hold it together myself. I've been the teacher trying to hold it classrooms together with grief, dislocation of families and family members, total uncertainty, systems that have stopped functioning. So, I mean, it ranges from personal safety all the way down to, just things not working in your classroom. And all I can say is that the best teaching moments aren't perfect and polished and wonderful. They're very human, they're very steady, and it feels like it counts because it feels consistent. So I would say just try and keep things as consistent as possible, allowing for, the extremes that do happen. As teachers, we're allowed to lower the bar of what we're going to accomplish for the day. We're allowed to say, you know what, today's been a rough day, so let's just talk. Maybe we'll do a little revision and perhaps we can reflect on what we want to do moving forward. That's okay. Because also, learning's not going to happen if the student's not focused. Learning's not going to happen if they got a rush of chemicals that is going on in their brain. Learning's not going to happen if they're not eating well, sleeping well, or if they've got some sort of stress going on. So sometimes, just sometimes, not all the time, we have to bend the rules and figure out how to make it work. Yeah. So if you're going through these things, I very much empathize and sympathize with you. Crisis mode teaching is not ideal. The world we live in can be challenging. That being said, some of the tips might be helpful for today. And if you need more support, just let me know. That's kind of it. Knowing that these things happen, I think we actually need to talk about it. Like, these things are happening and we have to recognize that teachers will struggle with it and they're not going to have high performing students in crisis mode situations. So it is what it is. It's a part of being human. And that's it for today. I will talk to you all later.